Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Virgo. If Virgo is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. Like a little bump here. I just changed everything on the table and it's all kind of cluttery. I gotta figure it out. But I was like, man, we gotta change this Halloween. I love the Halloween theme, but I'm so burnt on it. We've had a lot of Halloween this year. So Virgo, our card tonight is the Fool card. And I say our card because yes, I am also a Virgo, so I'm excited to see what's going on here. All right, and so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you would like to leave a comment, hit the like button. I would love to hear from you. All right, so first I want to look at this. The first thing I noticed, it reminds me of a dancing Shiva, which is actually pretty awesome. We have a Shiva out over here. We have the energy, really kind of, I don't know, I feel like it has kind of entered my own home. And we know there is the dynamic of Shiva and Kali and just a partnership, a consort, a divine marriage, right? That is just, it is full of love and sacrifice and well, just ruthlessly loyal, right? Willing to do whatever it takes. And the ecstatic dance, right? This is one of my favorite motifs. Definitely, if you can think of Shiva dancing, there's usually like the big kind of halo or loop. I don't know exactly what it's called. I should know. But yes, this kind of dance, it reminds me very much of the ecstatic nature of the saints, of the Sufis, of the Jainis. These are high religions, high philosophies, high spiritual systems within other religious systems. So we know like Sufism is a faction of Islam, right? And the saints, of course, are kind of cloistered within Catholicism, Orthodoxy, and so on. But these are kind of that, you know, the devotees that are walking the path of love. Love of God, love of Goddess, love of the divine, of the cosmos, of that ineffable thing, that mystery. And so I'm looking at this and I feel like there's such a fiery, active, just all-encompassing feeling in your life right now. You are very in line with that serpent energy, right? And that is the fiery energy that activates the Kundalini. The Kundalini is the serpent, really. But this is the creative force of the universe. And so I see you very, very entangled. If you've ever seen those, like, they're like an orb. It has the little electricity in it. I got one for my daughter last year. And you touch it and then the little pieces of, you know, electricity, they like are attracted to your fingertips, right? And it's like a Tesla thing, I think, right? I don't know. I was gonna call it a Tesla coil. It's not that. That's a whole different thing. But you know, any kind of neat electricity, I'm like, oh, that's the Tesla thing. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so when I imagine it, it's almost like this kind of like amazing arc of electricity and inspiration, and to be, oh, let me read this actually. I have to find it because I've been looking over it myself, and I've never been one to be good at memorizing poetry or quotes or anything like that. But they stick with me, the essence of the thing. And I saw one, now where did I have it? The quote is something so beautiful. And of course I should have these things ready. Nope, I don't see it. Where did you go? Where did you go, my friend? I don't know. But basically, it is a feeling of, well, being an extension of the divine, of being very acutely aware that you are part of a greater whole, that you are an aspect of the God source, being, well, communicated, right? You are a manifestation of something greater. Now, I'm not telling you how to believe, right? But I like this thinking because it is so ambiguous. We can put our icons in there. We can put our understanding of our tenets, our, you know, our beliefs, our flavor of, you know, of belief, the jargon that we feel comfortable with. It is applicable to, you know, this kind of universal web, right? And so I see you really forging your way towards this beautiful, beautiful place. You are active, you are activated, you are love, you are love, you are love. And I want to look at this other, now we have that. Now if we turn it, it does kind of look like a face. And it reminds me of the Green Man, okay? Kind of this forest spirit. You can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Now the Green Man is, honestly, I don't know what neo-paganism maybe, or some traditional paganism is such an umbrella term that it doesn't really, it means something, of course, but it doesn't really direct you to in a particular practice. There are a lot of pagan or so-called pagan systems, right? And it used to actually be kind of a slur, to be honest, but the word has been reclaimed, I think. And so this is a nature spirit. It's Eurocentric for sure, but it is everywhere, right? I look for any kind of resonance of this particular archetype, especially in the early days of summer. And if you can imagine, if you've ever been in a place where there is like an open field or like a little grove or whatever, and you can look out and see the tree line, and when you look through the tree line, it's almost like you feel like something's watching you. And sometimes we can catch a glimpse of a face looking at us. Now, we know that our brains are wired, so we're looking for formations and things that look like other things, and especially faces. And that's really wired into us, I think, because of survival, right? We're looking for animals, we're scanning for other humans, that kind of thing. But sometimes, right, especially at dusk for some reason. You look out onto that tree line, right? And you scan across it and you catch a glimpse of a face looking right at you. And that feeling you get, now maybe is it fear or wonder or excitement or curiosity or what the heck, or you start trying to rationalize immediately, whatever it is, this is the feeling. This is the feeling, and dwell in it. Dwell in it for even just a moment. Because I feel like this is kind of an invitation. Now don't go wandering off with the forest spirits or the fae, because you will not come back, right? If you go to their lands, we know about the fairy circles, don't step in there. If you see a fairy, if they talk to you and they say, hey, come with me, right? Don't go. But if you happen to find yourself there in the land of the fae, don't eat their food. You'll never come back. That's the story anyways. So if you see the green man and he wants you to come to his royal feast deep in the forest, go to observe. But yes, I do. I feel like all of this is very much tied to a period of time here where you are letting go of some of the worldly things. You're letting go of the stressors of the physical world, of your waking life, of the mundane tedium, right? Which that's where we excel, really, Virgo. I mean, we're really good at being, I hate to say this, I always like cringe when I even think about it, but we are really, like, if there was anybody to work in like a bureaucratic system and do it well and efficiently, it would be a Virgo. I don't love that we're like that, but we're really good at establishing systems, routines, whatever, and running them smoothly. We're really good at managing things. But we also can get very burnt out. We are a sign that I think is very prone to just working ourselves to the bone, getting to the point where, you're just barely, you're saying yes to too many things, right? You want to be part of all of the activities in my life, it's like, yes, I'll take snack for school. Yes, I'll host a little party for the kids to do decorations. Yes, we'll do some stuff for Girl Scouts, and we got all these other dance and martial arts and all the things, all the little I'm already starting to get cards ready for the holidays and remembering all the names and the list of all, but we're good at it. It tires us out though, right? And maybe you're post kids or you went another path, but that's my reality right now. And that's actually why, if you've ever, noticed here, my schedule of releasing videos has been a little wonky because I've been so busy since school started. Ridiculously busy. So some days, it's like my husband over at Dove and Serpent Tarot, his name is Paul. He's amazing. Go check him out. Yeah, we're like, okay, he needs to work first, and then we'll see if I have time. But yeah, so I feel like, we definitely can get to a place where we're overextended, Virgo. And I think that's kind of where you've been. And now it's like, okay, bring in the full energy, because we are taking off our office clothes. We're putting on our ratty old pajamas, or maybe you're somebody who likes to go out or whatever, maybe putting on like a nice outfit for the club, or maybe you go to like the polka bar and like the polka, or, whatever. You're out of those buttoned up you know, uniforms and office clothes and, you know, whatever it is that you wear to work, and letting your hair down a little bit, so to speak, and just allowing yourself to have a mini break, allowing yourself to let loose. And, you know, I think how that manifests for you is through your relationship with, the divine and magic and maybe the occult, spirituality for sure. But it just feels like it's sweeping through, right? It's creating this beautiful kind of river, or like we said, that serpent, right, of fire, the creativity, the awe. Oh, that's what was it? It is, I want to remember what that quote was, and I just cannot remember. Maybe it's in maybe I took a screenshot of it, because I keep thinking about it, and I just cannot remember it. But it was something, and I don't want to mess it up, and I also don't remember who the poet was, so I don't want to mangle it. But it was something about being so inspired to be next to God, right? To receive the inspiration of God, to be possessed. And that's what stuck out to me, to be possessed by God. You know, we think of possession as being like, you know, we're possessed by some demonic thing or some, you know, roving intelligence, or attaches itself, or, you know, whatever. But to be possessed by God, goddess, the divine, right? I know I try not to say that word too much, because I don't want it to be limiting to others. As you know, here at ULA, we know there are as many ways to the divine as there are beings in the universe. So it is fully unique to each of us, right? And there's no wrong or right way. The only thing that we have to learn how to do is hear ourselves, listen to ourselves. Now, over here we have a person standing next to, it looks like a large person. You can see the head up here wearing maybe like a robe. We have a smaller person over here, shorter at least. And we have what looks like a deer. You can see the ear right here, the eyes and the little nose over here, the little horn right here, kind of looking off this way. But then we also have what looks to me to be like an evergreen tree. Just a large evergreen tree, okay? So I'm looking at this and I'm feeling like it's just one sacred symbol after another. The deer are, yes, the most sacred deer, right? To experience the deer is to be face to face with your decision in your spiritual work. Castaneda talks about this. When you go out, you visualize, you have, you know, a moment where you're walking in the forest and you come upon, and it comes upon you really too, a large stag, and you stop and you look, and it's breathing, and you can see all of its breath just pouring out of its powerful nostrils, and you look towards it, and you decide in that moment, am I afraid? Am I going to approach it? Should I run? Is it going to hurt me? You know, what do I do here? Will I be the warrior? Will I go and try to fight it, attack it, hunt it? Will I be the healer? Will I go and will we be heart to heart? Will I tame this thing? Will it know me? Will it know my energies? Will I choose to walk away Will I choose to turn around and go back where I came from? If you've never done active imagination or guided meditation or some kind of visualization, this is maybe one that you could begin with, right? This is a good place to make choices. This is a good place to really look at, where are you kind of dwelling? What archetype is the most powerful right now for you? For me in my life right now, it's motherhood. I'm fully in that mother, posture, and among others, right? Among others. But we know, right? If you really stop and do these kinds of visualizations, it really does help us have some kind of clarity. So I know that with the deer arriving in your life, there is a real sense of you not only being drawn to the divine in these most sacred, impressions, experiences, encounters, but they are drawn to you. And it is happening very overtly. It's not something super hidden and you have to look through the fine, subtle details. No, this is right in your face. There is no denying that you are having very, very revelatory, psychic experiences here. Okay, these are sacred. Now, I feel like we have as well this emperor energy with a very tall person. Now we have the smaller person who looks very much, they seem to have a very similar outfit on. So I am guessing that this is going to be kind of child and parent. But also emperor and prince or princess. Okay, so there is a real sense of education here, kind of a pull towards maybe research, studying, reading about, whatever the system is that is kind of speaking to you. Maybe you are like myself, a little bit ADHD. My learning style is I just kind of learn about things individually as I find them interesting, right? And so, I told this to my husband the other day because he's always looking for new books to read. And I'm like, well, just start looking up, like, whatever you're thinking about, like, before you go to bed, The other day, I spent an hour and a half, like, looking at old drawings and photos of Aleppo. And before it was destroyed, it is one of the, heritage cities of the world. And it has been just decimated, right, from waves of conflict. And it's really sad, but I am constantly, I don't know what, I'm sure most people are like this, but just looking up and reading about and studying things that kind of randomly come up in my mind. And whatever it is, I feel like you are being led to this deeper education. And that makes sense to me as a Virgo, because we do have very strong intuitions, and we're also very good at just figuring out how things work by watching somebody or visual learning, but also just going through the process ourselves and kind of refining it pretty quickly. But there also, is a part of us that is very much into the actual learning and exploring, long rabbit holes of information. So it doesn't surprise me that you would be drawn to the more academic or kind of book side of religion and, the occult, grade systems, and so on. And so I see you really kind of coming into this place of a spiritual re-education, right? And I think that's really what it kind of comes down to, is your heart, your mind, your body, all of it, desiring for kind of this larger understanding, and maybe one that has been somewhat kind of transmuted, right? And that's how it goes. I'm always very taken aback by people who feel like they for sure know something for a fact about philosophy or religion or anything. This is it. This is the one truth. I don't know. It feels like it evolves for me anyways. My understandings change, over the years, vastly different than even 10 years ago. So I feel you really kind of leaning into this deeper kind of state of wisdom, ultimately. Okay, now the evergreen tree, this could represent the holidays coming up, although you might not partake in Christian holidays. And we can go on and on. I can ramble about the origins of the tree and the use of the tree and all that. I won't bore you with all that. But yes, I think it could be that. But ultimately, I think when I see the evergreen trees, for me, it is about fortitude. It is about weathering the seasons and staying consistent. And I feel like that is really the energy here, right? Even in your times of transformation, you still stay on point. You're not falling off that square. You are on point. And so, the other side of that is also a feeling of being a place of shelter and refuge for others. You are somebody who takes in people. You are somebody who is very thoughtful. You remember people. You make sure to go out of your way to include people. You probably are the person that has the holidays, a dinner or whatever it is, and it's a composite group of people, just from all different places in your life, and you bring them all in. And, you're the one that if somebody doesn't have a family with them, or, maybe they've just been divorced, or, their parents are gone, or whatever it is, you will be taking them in, right? Come and eat at my house. Come and hang out with us, and that's, I think, such a beautiful quality. Such a beautiful quality. Now, we also have the number 2121. So 2,121 as a number. Okay, now I want to look over here. We have, it looks like a person with a peacock. If you could see, here's the peacock. Or maybe it's a pheasant. Maybe it's a pheasant. I'm going to go with, but it has that little thing on the head. And I'm thinking, peacocks have that. I don't know, whatever. It's a beautiful bird. It's a bird that's so beautiful, you can't stand it. And then we have a person behind them. And honestly, I feel like it is a culling, which if you know what that means, they're putting it down. Maybe to eat it, or I don't know for sure. But you would hope, right? Make use of that thing. And I feel like for me, looking at this, it really is it represents a taming of the ego. And especially, and more specifically, a taming of obsession of looks. As we know with the peacock, it is all about presentation, right? And so I feel like for you, it's like you're getting into a place where you're really maybe, not that you're not going to take care of yourself or try to look right, but I feel like it's like I don't want to dwell in this sector of my being so much. I'm so tired of being worried about what I look like. When will I get a break? Well, nobody can force you to stop putting that energy in that place. But what can happen is, right, that we decide to walk away from it. We decide to, do our routines, our care routines, and our, dress the way that we dress and present ourselves how we do, but not to make it the central aspect of our life, which can be very easy for a Virgo. And it's not just about being like prideful or obsessed with self, or we're really good at aesthetics as Virgos. We're really good at like decorating our homes. We're really good at I think a lot of Virgos are interesting artists because we're just really good with like textures and colors and forms and all of that, right? But when we focus that on ourselves, it can become something that is almost obsession. It can become detrimental, right? So I feel like this is a time where you're working on this. You're working on how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your appearance. That's the big thing. And this makes sense to me too, where you are learning to kind of put your energies in other places and do that with intention. And so maybe alleviating some of the stress of appearance and how you are received by others, and putting that energy into your spiritual life. Okay. Also, I see here we have a person who is, and I immediately thought it was the moon because we also have the moon up here. So I feel like this is going to be a period of time where, like we said, the creativity and these things are really enhanced in your life. But I feel like there's also this kind of surreal energy flowing through everything that's going on a little bit. I feel like you kind of feel like you're in Alice in Wonderland, or like a David Lynch film, or maybe not as scary as a David Lynch film because some of those are pretty weird, especially like if you've ever, well, I don't know. Anyways, yes. But something that's just kind of bizarro. What's that guy's name that did, I always forget his name. I never watch his movies really, but the guy that did like Edward Scissorhands and The Nightmare Before Christmas, I forget his name, but like some weird landscape like that, right? And that's that moon energy. It's she is there to help you create. She is such a muse, but she can also really, really play tricks on you. So be mindful of that. Now we're going to do our 3 lucky numbers. Okay, we have number 61, 89, Are we going to go with, I think it's 100. There we go, 100. All right, and then we will end with our Mary Magdalene Oracle cards. Okay, and I'm just gonna use these as kind of a punctuation for the reading. Okay, the second power. I trust what my soul desires. I trust what my soul desires. Beautiful. And this is interesting. This is from the mythology that Mary Magdalene got on like a little boat and she ended up going to Italy. I feel like oh wait, is it Spain? I think it's Italy. And there's like a little town somewhere there where they have a huge like celebration, and there is the story that Mary Magdalene showed up in Europe with a little baby or a young child, and this was the earthly child of Jesus, and so insinuating that Mary Magdalene and Jesus were in fact married. Now, I don't know, you know, obviously I have no idea, and I'm no authority on any of this, but it's interesting, and I love this imagery. It's beautiful. So anyhow, I'm going to tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps the channel. And if you have not subscribed, think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you would like to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. I read all of my comments and they mean the world to me. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and tell you again, I love you. I love you. I love you. Take care of yourself, and we'll talk in just a few days. Good night.